Hello Earthlings, it's Crash here checking in once again for Crashing Down Survivor South Pacific. This 2-week layoff could not have been any longer at a crucial period of the game. We finally got back in action with last night's episode, Cult-like. We start off the episode with a duel that was going to prove to be pretty big as Ozzy tries to take it all the way back into the game to try and re-enter himself in the Final 5, Final 6, whenever they're going to put him back in from Redemption Island. His competitors, Dawn and Whitney, former Savai'i, all bitter over Cochran's flip of the tide when he went to the Upalu side. They all faced off. As we could imagine, Ozzy does it again. I want Ozzy out of this game. I will not be able to stomach it if he comes back in, somehow slimes his way into $1 million. He has played a terrible strategic game, but with the Redemption Island twist, it allows you to do that and be physically sound and maybe get back in. Nonetheless, it's been pretty impressive. He's shown his self-worth out there on Redemption. He says this is the game he wants to play. He loves being out there and being able to feed himself well because he's so good at catching fish. He can not worry about being backstabbed. And, you know, it might actually work out for him in a very odd sort of way. Even if he does get back in the game, he has got to win immunity all the way throughout. There is no way they are not going to vote that guy out unless he can continue to win immunity. He has an outside chance, because I have a feeling this Savai'i jury that's being built up, adding Whitney and Dawn to Jim and Keith. I think you got 4 bitter people right there, and I don't think they're going to vote for the real winner. I have a feeling they're going to throw their votes all at Ozzy or throw their votes all at somebody just because they wouldn't want to see a coach win or an Albert win. So we move forward here. We're getting to the camp life, and it's getting pretty interesting. There's 7 left. With Cochran, you throw him in the Upalu plus Cochran, and they have to start voting out their own now. This is where it gets really interesting. There's going to be some backstabbing on the family, they call themselves, and they're going to have to figure out where each person lays on the chopping block. Obviously, Cochran trying to plead his case, saying that, you know, they owe him something because he helped them get to this point in the game. He flipped the tribes, gave Upalu the numbers, and they should keep him around. Message to Cochran. I think he played good. I think it was a wise move to flip because you're just going to be at the bottom of the barrel at Savai'i, so you might as well try and flip and see if they'll put you higher at Upalu. But people don't owe you anything. It's a game for $1 million. People do not owe you anything. They don't owe you their friendship. They don't owe you 3 days left in the game. They don't owe you immunity idols. They don't owe you food. They don't owe you hospitality. It's a game for $1 million. What he should be doing is, rather than hanging around Coach all the time, he should be hanging around people that are maybe at the bottom of the barrel of their tribe. Get in good with Edna. Get in good with Brandon, even though I doubt it would work. But if you're at the bottom, if you go to the guys at the top, they're not likely to slay your way. The coach sat there and thought about it. He really liked Cochran, calls him a warrior. We'll see what happens as we continue here. We went to the immunity challenge. It was one of those challenges they do every season where they bring some of the old ones back and combine the challenges. You know, 3 go forward, then they have to compete, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Albert wins this one pretty well. Did a good job. Actually, Rick competed well with him. I don't remember the last time I even said Rick's name on here. Has that guy done anything this game? Watch him make it to the finals. You know how it goes in Survivor. There's always one that does absolutely nothing but gets to the very end. So Albert wins immunity. I figured maybe he would have been targeted for a vote here. Eventually, Coach and Albert, they're going to need some hot water, and they're going to have to find a way to weasel their way out. However, it comes down to the numbers game here. What rank are you on the chopping block? Cochran's at the bottom. Edna's next to last. They both know it. They're going to try and make a move and vote out Rick, just because he doesn't do anything. He's kind of a waste player. Yeah, they're looking for something. They're reaching high, but at the end of the night, it was a pretty obvious episode. There wasn't many surprises. Cochran gets voted out of this game, and he is sent to Redemption Island to where he'll have to face Ozzy. He will have absolutely no chance. I think you have a better chance of winning the lottery right now than Cochran beating out Ozzy to stay in the game, though it would be pretty funny if it actually happened. So, looking at it now, we got the 6 Upalu members left. You have Albert and Coach, physically strong players, mentally strong players. You have Sophie, who has played a good, under-the-radar game, calling a lot of the shots. Edna, who's about on her way out and is going to have to do some scrambling. And you have Brandon, Mr. Hans, who had another emotional breakdown at Tribal Council. His idiocracy has already eliminated him from ever winning $1 million. He's the type of guy you may want to get rid of because you're annoyed with him, or you may want to keep him around because he will vote with you if you're on his side, and he could probably win some immunities to maybe protect your alliance. As for Coach, you know, he has an immunity idol. You get with Brandon, he wins immunity. It keeps your pack safe. Take it to the end. Coach could still beat him. Coach, the only way I think he wins, he's got to take Brandon and Rick to the final 3. I think that's his best move right now because I've really seen this being a bitter jury. So if you give them any opportunity not to let Coach win, they're going to vote to that opportunity. Some side notes here. An interesting thing we saw, the immunity challenger is a reward massage type thing. Albert gave his award away to Coach and Cochran. They were allowed to take one person. It was a little interesting trick he did, maybe for some jury votes, maybe to reward Cochran before they voted him out. It was an interesting little deed. I guess it was worth it. But he says, you should take me on your food challenge if you guys win next. And I think he just wanted to eat food on the next run, try and guarantee himself that. And other side notes here, I'm looking at the jury. This has annoyed me for a couple seasons, but it finally hit me to a point where I have to talk about it this time. Looking at the jury last night, Cochran's talking. You see Jim and Keith, Whitney, Don. Mainly Jim. He wants to sit over there on the jury and shake his head, smile, laugh, mock Cochran over there like he was a better player or Cochran played the game wrong, yada, yada, yada. If you're so good, Jim and Keith, why are you sitting over there on the jury's side? That's right, you're both a bunch of douchebags. You belong on the jury's side. You did hardly anything for the game of Survivor. Thanks for being a waste of my time. Anyhow, Cochran, you know, he sits there, people are going to criticize him. He's a love or hate guy. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but if you were at the bottom of an alliance, you know you're the very last number, would you not flip? I mean, he goes to the other side, he gets voted off maybe the same place he would have on Savai. Maybe he would have lasted longer on Savai. You never know. But if you were at the very bottom, if you're not going to sit there and play the game and try and change the dice and do something, you don't deserve to be on Survivor. I credit Cochran for making the best move he could. He was put in a bad situation from day one. People never seemed to like him. He tried. I just think he's a guy off a different tree branch, and you have people that all want to have a little click in this game, and Cochran just was never able to fit in. Such is Survivor, such is life, it isn't always fair. I don't think he had a flaw in his game, besides the fact he doesn't have an athletic bone in his body. I'm sad to see him go because he made this show very, very entertaining. So that wraps it up. Player of the Week is going to Albert. He won immunity. There wasn't any really groundbreaking moves, so he will claim that Player of the Week. Till next time, who's going home from Upalu? We'll see. It's Crash.